This year's racing in the British Touring Car Championship is set to be electrifying because we have got a brand new introduction to hybrid. The touring car racing for years has been supported by success ballast, where the successful drivers would end up carrying ballast through the race meeting. The more successful they were, the heavier the weight was added to the car. But this for years was an invisible thing that nobody could see. Hybrid, you know it's working because there's a light on the side of the car to show when the driver is deploying it. Now here at Knockhill, we're trying to put together a guide which brings hybrid to you guys, and with a little help from my tall man at Team Dynamics, Neal, we're going to do just that.
Hey Dunk, welcome to Team Dynamics Workshops. Here's our quick whistle-stop tour of the hybrid system.
So for years the success ballast sat in the passenger floor well. That is where the new hybrid system will sit. In this road car, as you can see, we have a seat here, but right there, inside a crash structure which will take up to 60 Gs of impact, sits the battery. It's a 48 volt battery, and that powers into all the electronic systems ahead of it, and it goes in towards the engine bay. The MGU is housed inside the X-Track sequential gearbox, and that's where the drive for the hybrid system comes from. And equally important, the front bumper area, because that's where the cooling system for it all comes from. Drivers sometimes now are a little bit reluctant to use that front bumper to push because they don't want to damage their cooling systems. Everything is controlled by that Cosworth ECU. Battery management, engine strategies, cooling, and even the ICU, which we know as an engine, the internal combustion unit. Now 15 seconds is the magic number. That's the maximum amount of deployment a driver will get to use a hybrid system in any racetrack. It's done by using a button on the steering wheel, and that alerts the MGU and they get the extra deployment, which will give them that extra power. When you come to qualifying though, it's very much the same as what the weight basis was. If you come to Knockhill as championship leader, you're going to lose your hybrid for qualifying, and you'll gain time the further down the championship positions you go. Till you get to P11, that's where the driver from 11th down, they get maximum 15 seconds for laps in qualifying. As we move into the races, the top 10 in the championship for race number 1 lose hybrid boost laps. Simple as that. They can't deploy for the same amount of laps as somebody further down in the championship from P11 onwards. They still get the full 15-second quota of time, but they lose the amount of times they can push that button and deploy from the steering wheel. But then you get to race number 2, it all resets, and it goes back to how successful you were. Now let's have a little look at the idea for strategy in this new hybrid era. Because the driver has to attack and defend on track, but they've also got the extra tool of hybrid. When do they use it? If they've got clear track, is it best to disappear up the road and use all your hybrid? Or should you try and keep some of it if you've limited laps of use for the incoming attack towards the end of a race? It really is going to make the racing fabulous around Knockhill. The use of hybrid, you'll be able to know when a driver's using it because the light will be illuminated on the side. I can't wait to see how the strategies unfold and what drivers do to make their day successful.